Chapter 1: The Awakening of Smaug. In the deep, forgotten reaches of the lonely mountain, there lay a silence as heavy as the stone itself. This silence, however, was not to last, for within the heart of the mountain, a creature stirred from a slumber that had spanned ages. Smaug, the magnificent and terrible, awoke with a rumble that shook the very foundations of the earth. The dragon's eyes, like molten gold, flickered open, cutting through the darkness with an otherworldly glow. His vast, serpentine body, covered in scales that gleamed like countless coins, coiled amidst the immeasurable wealth he had amassed. Mountains of gold, jewels beyond imagining, and artifacts of untold power lay heaped in the cavernous hall, a testament to his insatiable greed. For long years, Smaug had slept atop his hoard, the wealth of the Dwarf Kingdom of Erebor, which he had claimed through fire and fury. The dwarves, once proud and numerous, had been scattered to the winds, their kingdom lost, their halls taken by the dragon's might. The memory of their defeat was etched into the very stones of the mountain, and their sorrow lingered in the air like a mournful echo. But now, the time of stillness had passed. A whisper of change was on the wind, a murmur that even the deepest roots and stones could feel. It was this subtle shift that roused the dragon from his dreams of gold and conquest. Smaug's nostrils flared as he inhaled deeply, tasting the air, his senses sharp as ever. There was a scent, unfamiliar and faint, but it was enough to draw his attention. With a grace that belied his monstrous size, Smaug uncoiled his body and rose. His wings, vast and tattered at the edges from centuries of disuse, unfolded with a sound like thunder. Dust and debris cascaded from his form, the detritus of a bygone era falling away. The dragon's mind, ever cunning and quick, began to turn over the possibilities. Who dared to disturb his rest? What foolhardy soul sought to claim his treasure? A low growl echoed through the halls of Erebor, a sound that spelled doom for any who heard it. Smaug's tail swept across the gold, sending coins flying in a glittering shower. His claws, sharp as the blades of kings, scraped against the stone floor, leaving deep gouges in their wake. The dragon's presence filled the mountain, a palpable force of malice and pride. He was the last of the great fire drakes of the north, a legend in flesh and blood. His name was whispered in fear by those who remembered the old tales, and his legacy was one of ruin and desolation. But legends are not born from slumber, and Smaug's tale was far from over. With a roar that shattered the silence and heralded his return, the dragon Smaug set forth to remind the world of his power. The age of men and dwarves had carried on outside his mountain, but the time had come for the legend to awaken once more. And so, with fire in his belly and a darkness in his heart, Smaug began to ascend from the depths of Erebor, his thoughts as sharp and deadly as the flames he would soon unleash upon the world. The legend of Smaug, the fearsome dragon of Western literature, was about to be written anew. Chapter 2: The Desolation of Smaug. The land lay quiet under the shadow of the lonely mountain, a silence that was more than the absence of sound. It was a hush of fear, a stillness of anticipation. The people of Laketown, Esgaroth, went about their lives with wary glances cast toward the looming peak, remembering the tales of fire and death that had once come upon their forebears when Smaug had first descended upon the land. But the dragon had been a distant nightmare for generations, a specter of the past that few truly believed would ever return. That was until the day the earth trembled and the sky darkened as if the sun itself had been swallowed by an ancient wrath. From the heart of the mountain, Smaug emerged, a monstrous incarnation of fury and flame. His scales, hard as forged iron and gleaming like 1,000 blood-red sunsets, caught the light of the dying day as he soared into the sky. His wings, once bound by the weight of long years, now beat with the power of a tempest, carrying him over the lands that had grown complacent in his absence. The people of Laketown felt the first stirrings of dread as the beat of those wings reached their ears, a sound like the drumming of doom. They watched in horror as the dragon circled above, his eyes alight with a cruel intelligence that promised destruction. Smaug's voice, a guttural and mocking bellow, rolled across the waters of the long lake and into the hearts of the townsfolk. "I am fire, I am death," he proclaimed, and with those words the desolation began. With a roar that split the heavens, Smaug unleashed his wrath upon the land. Fire poured from his maw, a river of destruction that turned forests to ash and stone to molten ruin. The fields that had once been lush and green withered in an instant under the dragon's inferno, the crops that sustained the people of the lake reduced to cinders before their eyes. The men of Lake Town scrambled to their boats, their faces etched with fear as they sought to escape the onslaught. But the dragon's malice was not sated by mere destruction. Smaug pursued them, his flames licking at the heels of the fleeing, his laughter a cacophony that drowned out their cries. The once proud town of Esgaroth, with its wooden houses and bustling markets, became a funeral pyre. The dragon's fire consumed it all, leaving nothing but the memory of smoke and the echo of despair. The lake's surface boiled and hissed as burning debris fell like rain upon the water. As the night drew in, the dragon's silhouette cut a dark swath against the backdrop of flames, a sentinel of sorrow watching over the ruin he had wrought. The desolation of Smaug had come, just as the old tales had foretold, and the land would bear the scars of his fury for ages to come. Yet, amidst the devastation, a spark of hope flickered. Unseen by the dragon's gaze, a company of dwarves, led by Thorin Oakenshield, and a hobbit by the name of Bilbo Baggins, watched from a distance. Their quest to reclaim Erebor had awakened the beast, but now they beheld the true cost of their ambition. As Smaug's shadow passed over them, a plan began to form in the minds of the company, a plan as daring as it was desperate. For the legend of Smaug was not to end in fire and ruin, it was to be challenged by the courage of the small and the bold. And so, as the dragon returned to his mountain, believing his might unassailable, the seeds of his downfall were being sown in the quiet resolve of those who had survived his wrath. The next chapter of the legend awaited, where the fate of Smaug and the fate of Middle-earth would be decided by the smallest of things. Beneath the cloak of night, the lonely mountain loomed, a silent sentinel over a land scarred by dragonfire. Within its stony embrace, Smaug, the fire drake, lay coiled atop his hoard, his eyes agleam with the reflection of pilfered treasures. But unbeknownst to him, a thrum of destiny pulsed through the darkened halls, for the end of his reign was nigh. In the quiet hush of impending fate, a solitary figure, small and unassuming, crept through the shadows. Bilbo Baggins, the hobbit, with a heart both valiant and pure, moved with a stealth that belied his trembling spirit. Cloaked in the magic of a ring that rendered him unseen, he beheld the dragon's underbelly, a tapestry of gem-encrusted scales save for one small bare patch, the key to the beast's undoing. As the dawn's first light breached the horizon, a thrush, with a song as clear as crystal, tapped upon the stone. The message was clear, and the air crackled with the weight of a prophecy fulfilled. Bard the bowman, standing tall upon the ramparts of the ruined lake town, drew his bow with a breath held by all of Middle-earth. The black arrow flew, a whisper of death on the wind, finding its mark in the dragon's heart. With a roar that shook the heavens, Smaug plummeted from the sky, his fire extinguished, his tyranny ended. The waters of the long lake received his fall, and the waves closed over the terror of the north. Thus fell Smaug, the mighty, brought low by the courage of the small and the forgotten. His legend, woven into the tapestry of the world's history, was a tale of greed and ruin, but also of hope and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to face the darkness. In the end, it was not the strength of arms that felled the beast, but the unyielding resolve of the brave. And so, the fire drake's reign was quenched, and the age of peace was kindled from the ashes of his desolation.